Alright. Oh. Hi, honey. Welcome in. Capcom. Alright, last time we did a lot. So we're getting into this retrial from 7 years ago with Blackquill being accused of killing Metapsyche's, Athena's mother. December 20th, 3:11 p.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby, number 5. I did a little research. I looked into the special psych locks you mentioned, Mr. Nick. You did? That's great. I really appreciate it. A red psych lock protects the secret a person is consciously trying to hide. If the person folds under questioning, the lock breaks and the truth comes out. Yep, that's exactly how I got the truth out of Detective Fulbright and Director Cosmos. But a black psych lock protects the secret from the deepest place in a person's heart. A secret that that person isn't even consciously aware of. So even they don't know what's there. Athena isn't trying to keep anything from you on purpose. For some reason, part of her heart and her memories are sealed off, even from herself. Okay, so all I have to do is break the psych locks. According to my research, a black psych lock is like a heavy chain wrapped directly around one's heart. If they are ripped off by force, it could cause permanent damage to the person's soul. In other words, if I'm not careful, I could traumatize Athena for good. Okay. Pearls, could you stay by Athena's side? She must be suffering under the weight of such a heavy burden. Alright. Well, will you be alright by yourself, Mr. Nick? I'm up against Edgeworth. I have to be able to give this trial all my focus and strength. But you can't do that if I'm there. I'll just hold you back. No, that's not it. I just meant I could relax and concentrate if I knew you were with Athena. You're the only one who could do it, Pearls. Alright. I'll do it then. Good luck, Mr. Nick. Yeah, Athena. Yeah, Pearls. Good, now that my mind is at ease, I better get ready. I'll just tidy up the evidence and take out what I don't need. Yes! Am I back to 2 pages? December 20th. District Court. Courtroom. Number 4. Defense, prosecution, and judge. There are even people in the gallery. Please. Yes, we're down to 2 pages of evidence! The roof has been completely blown off, and the walls have collapsed. But today, this ruin is my battleground. They got the judge here? I am surprised they actually got the judge here. Wow. Court or some facsimile thereof is now in session for the trial of Athena Sykes. Not a fascist smile, old man. This is a proper official trial. Take this more seriously, or you'll start hearing the bones of the hostages snap. Please try not to upset Mr. Blackquill. I'm begging you. Court is now in session for the very serious and very proper trial of Athena Sykes. This is no trial. It's nothing more than a ridiculous farce. What did you just say? Edgeworth, did you not hear what I just said about it said to his honor? However, this ridiculous farce has a very important meaning for our legal system. Recall the case of the UR1 incident, in which a prosecutor was found guilty of murder. That case ushered in the odious dark age of the law. I see what you're after. If we can find the real truth behind that case today. Precisely. The darkness will be dispelled and glory shall be restored to the court system. Prosecutor Edgeworth, you sound as if you know something of this truth. I do indeed. A new suspect has emerged in the UR1 case. For 7 years, Simon Blackquill has refused to speak in order to cover for someone else. Brace yourself, Phoenix. Here it comes. I'm sorry, right? But the situation is what it is, and I must do what I must. Prosecution. Moves to indict Athena Sykes on the count of murder of the first degree. Why do they look so dazed?
Regardless the circumstance, I intend to question the defendant with all I have. For that is a part of my creed.
Then you'd better bring it.
If the two of you are ready. Court is now in session for the trial of Athena Sykes.
Oh.
Your Honor, the defense was born ready.
The prosecution is also ready.
Oh, I like this. Cements tension between us. It's like we're picking up right where we left off. It is my duty to clear Prosecutor Blackquill of false accusations and insanity. But I have no intention of losing Miss Sykes either. She's a very promising young lawyer. I know without a doubt that Athena is innocent. But I don't think Prosecutor Blackquill did it either. The true culprit is a spy. It's gonna be hard to convince anyone of that when I barely believe it myself. But I don't have any choice if I want to save Athena and Blackquill and expose the spy. Now then, Chief Prosecutor Edgeworth. No need for the Chief Prosecutor bit, Your Honor. I am here as a simple prosecutor. Very well, your opening statement, please, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Although I've been known of late to give an impressive opening statement myself. In all trials I have ever seen, only the prosecution gives an opening statement. Of course, you're right. I was just joking. Just having a little fun. So he wasn't doing that then just out of fear. Interesting. Let's start with a brief overview of the UR1 incident. The incident occurred at the Cosmos Space Center 7 years ago on October 7th. The victim, psychologist Meta Sykes, was killed in a robotics lab on the 4th floor. Athena's mother. Simon Blackquill, a young prosecutor at the time, was found guilty of the crime. There were two deciding factors that led to his guilty verdict. One, Blackquill was the only person in the corridor to the lab at the time of the murder. And two, this photo, which captured the moment of the crime. Very incriminating evidence indeed. It would appear that the only conclusion is that Prosecutor Blackquill did indeed. Are you kidding me? I'm not accepting any conclusion of the kind. This opening statement is over. Now, hurry up and call the witness. Excuse me, Miss Blackquill. Well, we must follow proper procedure for these things, you know. Or perhaps we should heed her wishes, Your Honor. She is the trial's sponsor, after all. Besides, the courtroom is chilly, and sitting for too long can't be good for your back. Oh, you're very kind to show such concern for the welfare of the elderly. As skilled as ever played the court puppeteer, I see. The prosecution calls its first witness. A witness who decided to bring forth new testimony after 7 long years. New testimony? And just who is this witness anyway? We're gonna find out. Yeah, it's Fulbright. Bobby Fulbright's the name, and justice be trust. What are you doing here? I'm just here to speak for the hostage taker, Miss Aura Blackquill. She says she's too busy with that confiding and threatening the hostages and all. That doesn't seem to stop her from constantly chiming in through Klonko. I'm nothing more than an observer in this. Do your best. I'm watching you. Believing her brother innocent, Miss Blackquill has been conducting her own investigation. And though her current actions are hardly lawful, I think we could at least hear her testimony, her theory. I have here Miss Blackwell's notes on the investigations she can conduct, and I'll be giving testimony based on these notes. Here I go. Ugh. Aura Blackwill's theory. Simon isn't the murderer. He was trying to cover for someone. Someone else was at the scene at the time, they say Simon committed the murder. I mean, if he really was out to steal that moon rock, then why the rolling case? Because he was using it to hide someone inside, that's why. And the only person small enough to fit inside that case was Athena Sykes. And that's Miss Blackwell's theory. Totally goes in for the face of the official ruling, huh? About the case she mentions, there were other rolling cases like that one in the lab. But they're not for traveling. They are apparently for moving parts and equipment. Vaguely remember seeing the 3 cases, all different sizes. At the last trial, they thought that Prosecutor Blackquill used the case to steal the rock. And they had a perfectly good reason to think that, too. You see, there's a security camera in the corridor that leads to the robotics lab. That camera captured footage of Blackquill leaving the scene with the case. Let's see why that footage helped to bring his trial to a quick end. It's very convincing, that's for sure. That case, by the way, was later discovered outside on the Space Center grounds. Speaking of after the incident, where was the defendant Athena Sykes found? She was found on the 5th floor of the Space Center in the Sykes family residence. Prosecutor Blackquill most likely brought her there after the incident. In addition, it's unknown where Miss Sykes was at the estimated time of death. Miss Sykes was too confused by the shock of her mother's death to give proper testimony. And there was no witness or evidence to tell us where she might have been. So what you're saying is Miss Sykes didn't have an alibi. That is what the evidence is saying, yes. I understand the reasoning behind the theory, but I'm far from convinced. The victim is the accused's mother. Are you actually claiming an 11-year-old girl? Of course, the girl had a very strong motive. Dr. Sykes was a psychologist who wrote many papers about speech and emotions. You're aware of Athena Sykes' special ability, aren't you, Your Honor? Are you referring to that therapy thing? Yes, she's done it quite a few times in court. The ability to read emotions from speech, and the subject of her mother's research, Well, as long as it benefits society, I don't see any particular problem researching it. I don't like where this is heading. Not one bit. Dr. Sykes was so intent on her research, she forced her daughter to undergo experiments. Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you seriously suggesting? I've done my best to be delicate, but even you can't deny it to be true, Mr. Wright. No longer able to withstand the anguish of the experiments. Miss Sykes felt her only choice was to kill her own mother. Order in the court. What a tragic story. I hardly want to believe it myself. But we must proceed. Mr. Wright, if you could. Detective Albright, please refer to the notes. Bum, 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 bum. Alright, let's look at my evidence. Wait. Wound to the chest. That's not the chest, though. That's not the heart. That's gonna be something later, yeah, if she had that coat on. Unless it was like, oh, she took it off, but... See, the arm of one of the robots. See? Okay.
Hold it!
So, Prosecutor Blackquill willingly accepted a death sentence to protect someone else? Yes, that is exactly what I believe. And that is what I believe as well. Prosecutor Blackquill is no murderer, Mr. Wright. But Athena Sykes certainly didn't kill anyone either, Mr. Edgeworth. So it appears neither of us can afford to go easy on the other. Fine, I expected no less. Oh, I remember this tense atmosphere. It's so invigorating. I'm only reading notes here, but yeah. I feel extra invigorated too, so let's keep going. So that was nothing. That's just speculation.
Objection!
No, Miss Blackquill has proper grounds for her claims.
Objection!
Then why didn't you say so in the first place?
Objection!
Oh my god. You're the one who screamed, "Hold it," and cut me off. Fine, so maybe I jumped the gun by a teeny weeny bit. Ha 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 ha! Now I know what they mean when they say close enough to argue. Moving on. Oh, I love this. This is great.
Hold it!
This rolling case. I suppose you mean the one that existed in the photo of the prosecutor Blackquill in it. But was absent when the crime scene photos were taken. Yes, that's the one, and Miss Blackquill has drawn a conclusion from these two photos. She has, and what is that conclusion? You're the one with her notes. Oh, right. Of course, reading them now. So, why the rolling case? Hold on. Okay, no, never mind.
Hold it!
And how do you propose you hit a person inside one of those cases? Have you forgotten that we just saw such a thing only the other day? At your own daughter's magic show. She fit a grown person into a small box. Oh, yeah. Made her in the memory of a good day. I wish you'd have thought to invite me. Actually, I would have liked to go, too. My apologies. I'll invite you both next time. I promise. So, wait a minute. What were we talking about again? Prosecutor Black was using the case to hide someone. Okay, so it doesn't seem like any of this are this. What about the robot?
Hold it!
That's nothing more than conjecture, and it's hardly the only possibility. In that case, what do you think Prosecutor Blackquill had in that case? I think it was the moon rock.
Objection!
There was 3 cases at the scene, but Prosecutor Blackquill used the largest one. The moon rock was egg-shaped and only about 8 inches down. I just guess I just to move that rock.
Objection!
Be that as it may, it doesn't prove Miss Sykes was inside. Then let me ask you this. Can you come up with a better theory of what was in the case? Well, Mr. Wright, can you? Please, give a guy some time to think. Let's see. Should I try to bluff my way through what could have been in that case? Yo, yes! It's the best thing I can do. I know exactly what Prosecutor Blackquill carried from the scene. Just have to find something else that was missing, right? No sweat. Oh, I'd be very interested in hearing your theory. If it's true, that is. This is a crime scene photo taken after Prosecutor Blackquill left, correct? All I have to do is compare this with this photo of Prosecutor Blackquill and see what's missing. If he took something with him, then it should be in one of these photos. Lady Luck, don't fail me now. All right then, Mr. Wright. Let us hear your theory. The arm.
Take that!
Please notice that there is a robot part on top of the cart in this photo. However, in this photo taken after the crime, the robot part is gone. In other words, this part is something that was taken from the scene of the crime. You do appear to be right. I don't see it in the second picture. But it's just a piece of junk. How important could it be? Is it really just an insignificant robot part? It's not. Speaking of which. Well, what are you looking at? I'm gonna start charging for each glance per eyeball. Stingy, stingy. What happened to the age of free previews? Your Honor, about this robot part. Doesn't it look like it could be an arm from that robot there? Well, now that you mention it, it does, doesn't it? But the case is still too big to be practical for just a moon rock and a robot arm. Or was it really just the one arm that was in there? If it wasn't Athena in the case, then maybe. I believe there was another robot at the scene that looks just like this one here. Your Honor, it's the defense's assertion that it was the other robot that was inside the case. But what? That's what I was saying! I'm so smart.
Objection!
We can't be certain that part belonged to a robot. Yes, it looks like the arm of the one before us, but it could be something else entirely. Besides, it's wrapped entirely in bandaging, making it difficult to verify what it— I know the evidence. I know the evidence. I know for a fact that it is a robot arm. I can even tell which robot it belonged to, just by looking at it. With this information, we can investigate whether it was there at the time or not. Well, Mr. Wright, I thought you were more of the technologically illiterate type. When did you become such an expert? I feel somehow abandoned. Not to worry, Your Honor. I still know next to nothing about machines. But I know this piece of evidence proves— I'm so smart. It's this one.
Take that!
The robot in this picture is named Ponko. But take a look at Ponko's arm. It was Miss Sykes who bandaged it up like that. She must have thought that machines heal in the same way that people do. What an adorable, naive mistake. It reminds me of my own grandchild. The robot arm at the crime scene had the same bandage wrapped around it. In other words, this robot arm could belong to none other than Ponko. Order in the court. Order, I say. Prosecutor Edgeworth, what do you have to say to this? I can see that the robot is about the same size as a child, but it cannot grab its knees and curl itself up into a ball. Even if it was the largest of the cases, the robot couldn't have possibly fit in there. The case does come up to about mid-thigh, Prosecutor Blackquill. I see your point. The robot is much taller than that. They've got me there. So then, did Prosecutor Blackquill make Ponko fit in the case by compacting? Can you have Prince Ponko up and compacted her a bit? You know, kind of like when you suck the air out of those storage bags with a vacuum cleaner? Interesting theory. Why don't we conduct an experiment then? Dr. Fulbright, could you please bring us a storage bag and a vacuum cleaner? Let's try to compact Mr. Right here and see if we can't fit him into the rubbish bin. Second thought, let's just scrap the whole idea and start over. Okay. Very well, but no man, one man's trash is the same as another. It's the same man's penalty. Damn it. Okay. Of course, Ponko would fit. All Prosecutor Blackquill had to do was dismantle her. Once taken apart, the robot could easily have fit inside the rolling case. It appears to be a robot assembly machine. Oh. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it sounds rather violent, but Mr. Wright does have a point there.
Objection!
Except that there was a body on the table where robots are dismantled and assembled. There would have been no room to take the robot apart.
Objection!
But what if it wasn't done on the table? What if the katana was used instead? You mean the sword? Yes, Your Honor. Miss Blackquill, I'd like your opinion as a woman of science. Is it true that the katana could have been used to take the robot apart? I suppose so. Their joints aren't made of a very tough material. A blade could slice through them. Thank you for your expert opinion, Miss Blackquill. Thanks to you, we now know that the existence of the severed arm in this photo proves that Ponko was taken apart. In addition, since the rest of Ponko was not found at the scene, we can conclude that the true meaning of this photo is very different from the original interpretation. You can't mean. That's exactly what I mean. This photo does not capture the moment of the murder. It is instead a picture of the moment after the robot was sliced apart. The blood you see where the arm was cut off was transferred there by the bloody katana. Most likely the rest of Ponko was scattered around Prosecutor Blackwell's feet. Not hearing this. Therefore, what was transpired inside their case was not the defendant but a robot. Miss Sykes never was at the scene of the murder. My head, my body. Where am I? Gop. We found it. Bum, 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 bum. Bro needs 2 boxes. Order in the court. It's true that Ponko was found in pieces after the murder. And I'll admit, I repaired her myself afterwards. Ho ho! Yes, finally making some progress. Hopefully I've gotten at least one step closer to proving both Athena and Prosecutor Blackquill innocent.
Objection!
Well played, Mr. Wright. You made your point abundantly clear. I concede that it wasn't the defendant inside the rolling case, but that robot. Alright. What's going on here? It's never good when he plays things this straight. Does the prosecution withdraw its claim that the defendant was carried from the scene? No, Your Honor. My claim hasn't changed.
Objection!
But Ponko and Miss Sykes couldn't have both been inside the case.
Objection!
The notion that the case was used to carry Miss Sykes was Miss Blackwell's theory. I have been of a different opinion from the outset. Now I finally have the opportunity to voice my theory. Thanks to the defense. Edgeworth, it's been one step ahead of me this whole time. In that case, how do you propose the defendant left the crime scene? Simple. The footage only shows Prosecutor Blackquill from behind. What's more, he's holding his arm in front of his body, as if he were holding something or someone. That's hardly evidence. I have proof. The surcoat Prosecutor Blackquill was wearing. The victim's blood was found on the front of it, and the stain had a highly definitive shape. A blood stain with a distinctive shape. Let's continue, Prosecutor Edgeworth. 7 years ago, the defendant was known to constantly wear a certain item, of which there is only one in the world. A special pair of headphones made just for her. Analysis showed the bloodstain to be in the exact shape as the headphones. In other words, this was no mere blood splatter. The blood went from the victim's body to the headphones and then was imprinted onto Prosecutor Blackwell's coat like a stamp. A most gruesome stamp indeed. Blackquill carried Miss Sykes, who had been hit by a splatter, away from the crime scene. This proves that Athena Sykes was without question present at the crime scene. And that concludes the prosecution's argument. Order! If the defendant was indeed at the scene, it deepens the suspicion against her.
Objection!
Well, we've also shown that the robot was still there at the scene as well. I hope you're not making the ridiculous claim that a simple robot was the real murderer. I don't really think that, no, but if the possibility isn't there. Detective Farbrand, was the robot questioned at this time? No, I don't see any record of it. I believe it was considered unrelated to the case. But as it turns out, the robot was actually integrally related. Your Honor, the defense would like to call Ponko to the stand. Robot witness? Order in the court. Prosecutor Edgeworth, what do you think about this? Mr. Wright has called all manner of witnesses to the stand over the years. So why not a robot? Nothing surprises me anymore with him. Very well, I will allow the witness. Bailiff, please summon the robot named Ponko. Witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is not Witness. My name is Ponko. Yes, I realize that. But when you are at the witness stand, you are the witness. No, I'm not. I'm Ponko. Say it with me. Ponko. What an utterly inflexible little robot. You're the last person who should be calling anybody inflexible. Haha, you remind me of my grandchild who just learned his own name. Oh, how precious. Alright, Ponko. I'm going to ask you some questions. Questions? You have questions? Hooray! What are your questions? I want to know if you were there at the scene of the murder of Metis Sykes. It was 7 years ago on the 7th of October, around 2 p.m. in the robotics lab. Certainly. Just one moment. Searching data. Search complete. Yes, I was there in the robotics lab. It would seem this robot's testimony is necessary to this case after all. This is great. Just knew Ponko must have seen something important. A murder committed right before this poor little girl's eyes. It's inexcusable. The judge seems ready to adopt Ponko as another grandchild. So, little Ponko, do you think you can give us your testimony to that? Wasn't to know. What I saw. I went to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. for my regular recharge. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Mommy Metis. And then Mommy Metis fell down. After that, I was recharging, so I don't know anything. After I charged up, I was cleaning the room, and Mr. Simon came in. And then an error occurred. There is no data after that point. Bro got chopped. Well, it sounds like the defendant was, without question, at the scene. However, it doesn't appear that the witness saw the actual moment of the murder. I disagree. This testimony shows that the defendant did indeed commit the crime. What? At the end of the day, we mustn't forget that the witness is still a machine. Being a robot, its understanding and capacity to express itself are limited. So what are you suggesting? The witness's statements need to be interpreted. For example, the terms hugged and then later fell down. Adults don't usually fall down after being hugged by a child. They don't, but... Yes, what this witness statements are telling us is that the defendant stabbed the victim with the murder weapon during this moment. What? Before Miss Sykes hugged Dr. Sykes, did the two of them converse? Yes, they did. They spoke to each other very loudly, but I don't know what they said. Athena is usually so quiet, so I was surprised. Spoke very loudly. We can interpret this to mean they argued. I see. Murder after a heated argument, and then a victim fell down. I agree that does sound like a reasonable interpretation. However, Ponko doesn't seem to remember anything that happened after that. When I am recharging, I go into sleep mode. But I remember everything before that. I have a very good memory. You may as well admit defeat now, right? A cross-examination would be useless. Don't be ridiculous. Cross-examination is never useless. Until now. Think about it. Robots don't lie. This robot is both an important witness and valuable evidence at the same time. Nevertheless, we'll have my cross-examination. I see you haven't changed. You never were one to worry about that, about wasting time. Very well. Even if it may be a waste of time, you may proceed, Mr. Wright. I'll show you both just how fruitful any cross-examination could be. Yeah.
Hold it!
Your regular recharge. What is that exactly? I have to refill my battery's power or else I stop working. I go to the lab to do that. So they're recharging could around 2 p.m. around the time of the murder. That's right. I go every day at 2 p.m. Hold on. I gotta send a message to my brother. Alright.
Hold it!
Hugged her, huh? Which Edgeworth took to mean stabbed her with a weapon. Said the two of them were talking before Miss Sykes hugged her mother, is that right? Yes, they were talking very loudly, but I couldn't tell what they were saying. Couldn't tell? Even though they were speaking so loudly? I'm only allowed to listen to voices that are directed at me. If I'd listen to every voice, it would be a little better than a mobile eavesdropper. Well, that explains why some of Ponko's testimony is so vague. It's a shame that our little friend wasn't listening in, however. We could have learned what they were talking about just before Dr. Sykes was killed. Now then, what happened after that?
Hold it!
I don't want to delve too deeply in here, but... could you tell us how the victim appeared and acted at the moment? Mommy Meadows was very surprised when she was hugged. I heard her heart pound. Her heart? Mr. Wright, have you forgotten about this document that we found in the robotics lab? These robots have a heartbeat detection system. Now that he mentions it, I do remember reading something like that there. They detect the presence of people by the sound of their heartbeats. But wait a minute. That means... Dr. Sykes really did die at this moment. Ponko, how was Dr. Sykes after she fell down? Could you still hear the sound of her heartbeat? Let's see. The moment she fell, her heart was pounding. After that, I don't know. I started recharging just then. Of all the unlikely timing, if you had heard anything after that. Could possibly prove that the hug wasn't actually the moment of the murder. I'm very sorry. I'm afraid I don't know. I'm very sorry. The robot is designed to go into sleep mode automatically, so it can't be helped. But it does appear that it detected an increased heart rate at the moment of the stabbing. After Mommy Metta's heart started pounding, in surprise, she fell by the window. It was the round window, on the workbench side of the room. The workbench, huh? Uncle must be talking about the table to the right of where the giant robot is now. Is there something critical in Punko's statement just now? Probably. Your Honor, I believe the statement is critical. I'd like it added to her testimony. Very well. Punko, could you please add that statement to your testimony? That's a good little girl. Mommy Metis fell down near the round window on the workbench side of the room.
Hold it!
Let's see. There are 2 round windows in the robotics lab. Which one did you mean? The one on the right, near the hanging scroll. And hanging scroll is Mommy Metis' prized possession. Okay, in the pictures of the crime scene from 7 years ago, there's definitely a hanging scroll on a Japanese theater mask hanging on the workbench side wall. But is there some problem with the statement? I feel like something here is important.
Objection!
Yes, I'm so smart. Ponko, your statement may have just inspired a breakthrough. I was helpful. Hooray. I'm so happy. Just to be sure, let's go over it again, okay? The victim fell near the window on the workbench side of the room. However, her body was discovered on the operating table. But the operating table and the workbench are 2 different locations. Exactly, Your Honor. Just learned a new crucial fact. Explain the 2 very different locations of the body. The defendant moved the body. She wanted to heal her mom. The fact that the body was observed in 2 very different locations. In case the defendant moved the body. That does seem like a plausible explanation. Is that really your final answer? Huh? Oh. He's right, a little kid couldn't. Damn it. Well, I was thinking of that. Because she talked about, you know, healing. Thought I was being smart. Okay, I won't be smart. An 11-year-old girl couldn't have moved the heavy body of an adult. So the only explanation is that the victim walked to the operating table herself. In other words, what Ponko observed near the workbench couldn't possibly have been the moment of the murder. Well, I'm very relieved to hear that. Glad to know that the murder wasn't committed in front of little Ponko here. Yes, as we just heard in the testimony, Miss Sykes hugged her mother. Nothing more.
Objection!
Right. It's been 8 years, but you're still just as green as ever. Green? What? I can't recall ever seeing Mr. Wright in anything but a blue suit. Hey, what's my favorite color? What can I say? If the defendant couldn't move the body herself, she could have had it moved for her. Moved for her? Miss Sykes and Dr. Sykes were the only ones there. I agree, since this robot is equipped with a heartbeat detection system. It would have been aware of another person's presence if someone else had been there. We can therefore conclude that the defendant and the victim were the only ones present. Then who do you suggest moved the body? Don't you know it's in the nature of a robot to help people do things? Miss Ponko, let me ask you a question. My name is Ponko. Say it with me. Ponko. I believe you said you were cleaning after Dr. Sykes fell down. Did you happen to move something large onto the operating table? Yes. Yes, I did. Athena asked me to. Athena asked you to? And what did you move, little Ponko? I don't know. Unless something has an ID tag, I can't tell what it is. An ID tag, you say? Yes, a tag with a barcode on it. We robots scan them to tell us what a thing is. The paper in the lab did mention something about that. When it's scanned in the spacesuit? So it would appear that Miss Ponko here can't identify what it moved. My name is Ponko. No, Panko. But we humans have the power to imagine what it was, do we not? We do? Well, I do at the very least. Miss Panko, on the defendant's command, moved the body onto the operating table. Ponko, did you really move Miss Sykes' body? It's really important. Isn't there any way you could tell? I don't know. Without an ID tag, I can't tell. Give it up, right? If the victim's heart was stopped, the robot's detection system would be useless. Furthermore, Dr. Sykes usually wore her awake coat while she was working. She kept the jacket with the ID tag on it, draped over her chair in the robotics lab, and only wore it for special occasions. In other words, the victim wasn't wearing her ID tag at the time. From the robot's point of view, her body was simply just another object.
Objection!
Ponko was equipped with facial recognition system. If she really did move the victim, she would have recognized the body as Dr. Sykes. But she didn't. So that means...
Objection!
A face cam could easily be covered with a piece of cloth, a mask, or anything else for that matter. With facial features hidden, the robots wouldn't be able to tell it was Dr. Sykes. He's right. To summarize, Sykes stabbed her mother near the workbench, then using the robot, she moved the body to the table, where she removed the sword and was stained in blood. Order! But if that's the case, then I have a question. Why did the defendant move the body to the operating table in the first place? You want a reason? Very well. What? Can't possibly have an explanation. Your emotions blind you to the truth. You can learn a lot about our robot friends. Calm and rational thought will open your eyes to the truth in front of you, Mr. Wright. Now then, do you remember the operating table's one special feature? I believe I read that robots can be assembled and disassembled there. Isn't that right? That's right. And to the defendant, who was just a child at the time. The table was like a magic box that could make robots appear or disappear in seconds. Yep. You can't possibly be suggesting this young sheltered girl has had a difficult time distinguishing robots from people. Take a look at Ponko's arm. It was Miss Sykes who bandaged it up like that. She must have thought the machines healed the same way that people do. What an adorable naive mistake. It reminds me of my own grandchild. No way. I refuse to believe it. Miss Sykes made a childish, naive, and cruel mistake. She thought that if a robot could be dismantled and vanish without a trace. For Prosecutor Ashworth, if you're about to claim what I think you are, I demand that you word it as delicately as you can. With all due respect, Your Honor, all I can do is present the truth as it stands. The reason the defendant moved the victim's body to the operating table...
Hold it!
No, don't say another word. Just stop. Was to dismantle the evidence so that she could get away with her crime. That can't be. True. Order in the court. Order in the court, I say. Edgeworth, she was just a little kid. How could you say such a horrible thing? Horrible? Like I said, you're just as green as ever. I came here today as a prosecutor to seek only the truth. No more, no less. My theory is simply the result of a rational consideration of every possibility.
Objection!
But dismantling her isn't the table's only function. It can make repairs as well. Conceivable that Sykes moved her mother to the table in order to fix her. Suppose that could be another way of interpreting it. But dismantle or repair, it doesn't matter either way. What do you mean? After murdering her mother, Miss Sykes may have come to her senses. Perhaps she did want to make it appear as if it had never happened. And that's why she tried to repair her mother. Yes, that's one possible explanation. But we mustn't forget that the facts of this case. The victim was observed to fall down after being hugged by the defendant. And the body was moved per the defendant's command. These two facts that indicate the defendant's guilt, remain unchanged. This just can't be true. Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence to refute the prosecution's claims? Evidence? Right. Let's see. Can't think of any. I'm afraid I don't have any evidence. Since becoming chief prosecutor, I've learned that the truth isn't always pretty. Now accept the truth, Mr. Wright. Your subordinate murdered her own mother. Your Honor, the prosecution demands a verdict. The hostages have suffered enough. What a terrible and tragic conclusion. If the defense has no counter-argument, I see no need to further prolong this trial. Edward's argument seems solid enough. But... there's no way Athena could have ever done anything like that. What do I do? There has to be something. I can't think of a single thing. Is that Blackquill or Sykes? Yes. But Prosecutor Blackquill. This is quite the farce you are conducting here. I could die from laughter. Prosecutor Blackquill, what are you talking about? What I'm talking about is that your argument is based on an entirely false premise. Go on, we're listening. Could this be the miracle I need? What is Prosecutor Blackquill trying to pull here? 7 years. For 7 long years. This case has been on my mind. Not for an instant did I not think of it. I'm the one who killed my mentor, and don't think you can alter that fact now. Your baldness, I will take to the stand, and I won't take no for an answer. Of course, Prosecutor Blackquill. Please go ahead. Bum-bum. Which Cosmo says he said she killed Dr. Sykes. But when I got to the robotics lab, I found Athena there instead. I would not be swayed from my purpose, so I waited for Dr. Sykes to return. And then I committed the act. How cathartic it was. My little Ponko here witnessed the victim falling. In other words...
Objection!
I don't need any of your other words, old man. I can guess what happened. Which would be? She fell, merely that. A mother and child fooling around. Perhaps she tripped. Not that it matters. When I entered the lab, there was no trace of Dr. Sykes to be seen. There was no dead body either, of course, meaning she must have left the room. So the murder occurred after the time period Ponko described in her testimony? You should hardly take stock in the words of a wind-up toy.
Objection!
Then how do you explain the fact the defendant had the robot move something? Athena was always tinkering with robots on the operating table to amuse herself. And she always had Ponko move the heavy ones for her. That day was no different. Ponko moved a heavy robot for Athena. This is awful. What he's saying seems to make sense, and yet...
Objection!
Prosecutor Blackquill, are you trying even now to turn away from the truth? Did you realize we could bring the dark age of the law to a close today? You expect too much from me. I'm just a murderer beyond redemption. Why don't you just let me go so I can settle down to hell? Prosecutor Blackwell's execution's tomorrow. The truth doesn't come out now, it's all over. Are you saying that the little girl and the robot had nothing to do with the murder? That's right. So let's hear your verdict. If we don't hurry, I might miss the ferry across the Styx. Don't you dare, Judge. Don't forget I have hostages over here. And Simon, how long are you going to cover for her? Miss Blackquill. Forgive me, Aura. I never wanted you to do anything like this for me. But you agreed to this trial. If you have a counter-argument, then present your evidence. That's the rule of the courtroom. Isn't that right, Chief Prosecutor? Blackquill. You selfish. Well, to be frank, I don't like this, but it's my duty to make a decision. If no one has a counter-argument, I will announce my verdict. It's really happening. You're really good at it, just like that 10 years ago. Can't let this happen. But I just don't have the evidence to counter Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony. There's a lot of holds that's going on right now. What? Athena! What are you feeling okay? I can hear it. I can hear the voice of his heart. He's hiding something. If he really is, I could sure use Athena's help here. Power might just be the thing to get us through this.
Objection!
Sykes, don't know. No need for you to chime in here, just accept that you're innocent.
Objection!
These past 7 years, they've been just as hard on me, you know. What are you talking about? Do you remember that horrible, horrible trial? Please, you have to listen to me. He didn't kill her. He started screaming that he didn't kill her. Even now, every time I stand in a courtroom, it comes back to haunt me. Not being heard, no matter how hard you try. Feeling so helpless. Caught in people's stares, so scared that it feels like your chest is in a vice. I'm terrified of courtrooms. I want to run out of the door even now. Oh, this is like getting to me. Shit, you found a way to keep your fears at bay and become a lawyer. Aw. This day has finally come. The day I've been looking forward to with all my heart. This is why I became a lawyer. This is why I study psychology. It was all to save you from this false conviction. Well, Miss Sykes, do you realize what it would mean? You are the accused after all. If you prove Prosecutor Blackquill innocent, then... The only thing that matters is the truth. It's my duty to find out what that truth is. Simon, please give me this chance. A chance to shake off this fear that's been with me for 7 years and face the truth. Athena's being so brave, confronting her past like this. This might really be the last chance to save them both. Prosecutor Blackquill, please testify once more about the time of the incident 7 years ago. Fine. But your efforts will surely be in vain. For I am not a man who can be cut down easily. Here we go, Simon. Let me hear the voice of your heart. This feeling of happiness. Even though the person you were looking for wasn't there, you felt happy. Why is that? Simple. When I was looking for Athena and hadn't found her yet, I grew worried. So when I saw her in the robotics lab, I was happily relieved. Merely that. Just now you said that you went to the Space Center to kill Dr. Sykes. But the first thing you did was look for her daughter instead? I don't touch the Harbic, Athena, so I wanted to confirm that she was safe first. It was just a part of my plan. Nothing contradictory about that. Second I find an inconsistency, he cuts it down. Simon knows the principles of analytical psychology. There's less noise now, but I don't see any instabilities we can latch onto. I was afraid of that. We just have to keep chipping away at him, then bit by bit. Would you please update his testimony, Athena? Got it, boss. No? Okay. Review your emotions alongside your testimony. Yeah, okay.
Got it!
Not even you can falsify your emotions, Prosecutor Blackquill. What? When you said that you killed Dr. Sykes in your testimony, you felt sadness. Why would someone who had lane... Yep, felt sad. Such an obvious attack. I felt sadness, but it wasn't for her. I felt sorrow for Athena and her circumstances. God. He can't be talking about that. Can he? My objective was to save Athena from an obsessive scientist who treated her own daughter like a research subject. What? I went to the psychology lab first. That's where I would usually find Athena playing. But the day was different. I heard someone crying in the robotics lab next door. Was Athena being subjected to yet another experiment? I thought as I went to see. Conveniently, Athena had cried herself to sleep, so all I had to do was wait and kill. So that's why he was relieved when he saw Athena. But is the story really true? I'm not sure how much to believe. Is that right? How are you doing, Athena? Still hanging in there? I'm a lot stronger than I look, boss. Now, take a look at this. The noise level actually increased. Oh! It went up. I've never seen it do that before. Prosecutor Blackquill is lying somewhere in his testimony. As a matter of fact, he's piling lie on top of lie in an attempt to make his claim sound more believable. He's trying even harder to suppress his true feelings, and that's what's causing the noise. How in the world should I approach this? An evidence-based approach might work if I can find a contradiction. Otherwise, I should look for an inconsistency in his emotions. There are no flaws in my testimony, and his baldness is prepared to give the verdict. Give up on this lost cause and let the law free me of these chains already.
Objection!
I don't think so. Not while I'm around. Now, contradictory testimony or inconsistent emotions. Which should I tackle first? Damn it. I guess it's testimony. Okay. Let's present some evidence here. Got it, boss. But if you want to go back to looking for inconsistent emotions, just let me know. I can easily switch back. I think it's statement. Present evidence. Yeah, I know. Okay, I'll try his emotions. How odd. Why would you register surprise at opening the door to the lab? Tss. All right, fine. I'll explain if I must. What surprised me was Ponko. That toy figure attacked me. Dr. Sykes knew full well of my plan to rescue Athena, but she couldn't stand guard over her daughter 24 hours a day. So Dr. Sykes had Ponko do it? That's right. She ordered Ponko to forcibly remove me on sight. So I slashed Ponko up with the katana that was there in the lab. That rickety old puppet wasn't worthy of that fine blade. It's alright. It's happening again. There's even more noise now. It's at 100% now. What's going on here? Whenever we find an opening, he covers it up with lies. We'll never get rid of the noise at this rate. It's pretty hard to keep telling coherent lies like that. His mind and will really are as sharp and as strong as a katana. Alright. What should I tackle first this time? Maybe his testimony. I think there might be an inconsistency in Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony. Alright, let's give it a thorough check then.
Objection!
Yes! I'm so smart. Because the blood. Compounding lies with more lies is never the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell. Take a look at this photo. That's the photo of the supposed moment of the murder, isn't it? How many more times must I see the witch damned before my sin? The ironic thing is, I think this picture is actually going to be your savior now. See the blood stain at the end of Ponko's arm where it was severed with the katana? I hope you aren't claiming it's a robot's blood, Mr. Wright. No, most likely the blood was transferred there from the bloody katana. The katana already had blood on it, so then it must have been the victim's blood? That's right. But if that's the case, we found a glaring inconsistency. You said in your testimony that you cut up Ponko and then you killed Dr. Sykes. But in spite of that, the victim's blood is already on Ponko's arm in this picture. What? But that couldn't be. Exactly. In order for the blood to have transferred from the sword to Ponko's arm, the victim must have been stabbed first before the robot was slashed. In other words, Prosecutor Blackquill, your entire testimony is nothing but one giant ball of lies. His chain. Tell the court the truth, Prosecutor Blackquill, now. You have no idea what you're doing. His voice. There's so much discord. I'm hearing not just one or two, but a bunch of rampaging emotions here. It's hard to describe. It's like a violent whirlpool of something. Or something. Phoenix Wright, you will pay for this. Never have I been forced to reveal so much, but the rest I'll take to my grave. Prosecutor Blackwell, you are on the witness stand. You are obliged to tell the truth. Obligated. Is that the rule of the courtroom? All these complex emotions. They seem to be flowing from one source. I think whatever he really wants that day is what's causing his feelings, or what he really saw that day. Uh-oh. Nope. what voices hurts even to listen to it. He's been living with this pain inside him for all these years. And the root of all is hidden somewhere in this testimony, isn't it? Yes, that's right. Please hurry. Set him free, Mr. Wright. Is it Athena? When you opened the door and saw Athena, you became overwhelmed by your emotions. Isn't that right, Prosecutor? Should know better. And though it's pathetic, I admit I'm terrified to speak of it. Prosecutor Blackquill, Miss Sykes is innocent. I will always believe that with all my heart. Now, can't you find it within yourself to believe in me too? Athena is innocent. Huh. Can you honestly say you believe that to be true? Right, Dono. I give you my word. Now tell me what you really saw when you opened that door. Curse you, Phoenix Wright. It was a tragedy. One I'll never forget. When I arrived at the lab, Dr. Sykes was already dead. She was lying on the operating table, while the bloody katana lay on the floor. And standing between the two, covered in blood, was Athena. She smiled, with a far-off look in her eyes, as she sweetly said, "Something's wrong with Mom, so I'm taking her apart to fix her." That's what I saw. And now you have it. The truth that you so desperately wanted. Uh-oh. No. Prosecutor Blackquill finally tells the truth. And this is what it is? It's beyond devastating. I tried to take my mother apart. I... No, 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 no. So it was me. I'm the one who killed my mother. Athena, as I said, right, the truth isn't always pretty. Murder disassembly on an operating table. A scientist using your daughter as a guinea pig. Sadly, it appears that my theory was correct after all.
Objection!
It's true that Athena didn't like her mother's research, but you dare cast aspirations on my mentor by claiming Athena was used in such a manner. Dr. Sykes could be awkward with people, but she loved her daughter with all her heart. She loved me. Your mother hated to see you suffer because she could hear the voices of people's hearts. She wanted you to be set free of your pain, so she worked tirelessly on her research. Do you remember those headphones you hated so much? Yes. My head hurt every time I wore them. No, Athena. It's just the opposite. They emitted sound waves to nullify emotional input from the voices of people around you. Your power was much stronger than that it is now. And those headphones were what enabled you to carry on with your everyday life. No, that can't be true. Then why? Why would I have done something like that to somebody who loved me so much? Her love for you was real, that I can guarantee. That's why I knew. That was what happened, had to be some kind of mistake. I couldn't let you be punished for it. So you took the blame yourself. You and your mentor are more likely to know. Punko was a witness, so I put it in the case, held Athena close and vacated the lab. Threw Punko away in the boarding lounge trash chute. And I hid the case on the Space Center grounds. It would seem that we now have all the facts of this case.
Hold it!
No, not yet. Can't end like this.
Objection!
Do not disgrace yourself, Mr. Wright. The truth has been revealed. Or are you the type of man to turn your back to things that disagree with you? I'm not. But this... I can't give up now. I have to say something, anything, even if it's a bluff. I've always managed to pull through that way in the past. I have to make it work. The defense is prepared to present evidence. Mr. Wright. Yes, Athena? It's okay. You can stop now. I don't want you or anyone else to suffer any longer for my sake. Athena, what are you saying? I killed my mother. That's the truth. Just like Prosecutor Edgeworth said. We have to face it, no matter how much it hurts. I admit my guilt. But could I please be granted just one chance to tell everyone what I recall? It appears Miss Sykes is much braver than you, Mr. Wright. What say you, Your Honor? In light of her courage, will the court give Miss Sykes this opportunity to confess? Very well. Then, if you would, please take the stand, Miss Sykes. Thank you for letting me do this, Prosecutor Edgeworth. And thank you, Mr. Wright, and Prosecutor Blackquill, for letting the truth be known. Now we can finally move forward, and everyone's suffering can come to an end. Athena! Prosecutor Blackquill will be cleared, and the Dark Age log can come to an end. Yes, admit your guilt, and bring everything to its conclusion. I killed my mother. My memory is still a little hazy, but there's no question I remember it. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hands, and the feeling of it stabbing deep. And I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down the handle onto my fingers. Your Honor, please find me guilty. I dare say, these are all memories that no one but the murderer would have. I see. Thank you for your confession. I believe this trial has gone on long enough. But before we conclude, does anyone have a counter-argument?
Objection!
I do, Your Honor. Mr. Wright. But Mr. Wright, why? I killed her. I remember it now. Any counter-argument now is pointless.
Objection!
Don't tell me you've forgotten one of the basic tenets of lawyering. Always believe in the client to the bitter end. Athena, you are not a murderer.
Objection!
I said that you never change, but could you have actually regressed in these 8 years? I won't stand for your childish emotionalism getting out of the way of the truth. Emotionalism? Don't lecture me on matters of the heart, Edgeworth. Because I can see straight into a person's soul. Oh, a little research. Looking at the special psych locks you mentioned, Mr. Nick. He doesn't try to keep anything from you on purpose. For some reason, part of her heart and her memories are sealed off, even from herself. There's still a chance, somewhere deep in Athena's heart. There might still be a memory that not even she knows about yet. Might be looking for a grain of salt or sand somewhere in the cosmos, but still. That memory might contain a new fact that could prove her innocence. I hope for everyone's sake that you are not just bluffing, Mr. Wright. Now then, is there or is there not a problem with Miss Hike's confession? There's definitely something wrong with her memory of the event. You can just tell. If there's a problem with her confession, please prove it to this court now. There's no blood on the weapon.
Take that!
On the handle. Isn't that the katana the defendant used to kill the victim, Mr. Wright? I respectfully and vehemently disagree, Your Honor. But I remember it. I remember holding the weapon and getting blood on my fingers. That's exactly my point. Blood really did get on your fingers while you were holding it. There should be blood on the handle. But please focus on the handle of the sword. There's not a trace of blood on it. And therefore, this is clearly a contradiction of the facts. You're right. Oh my!
Objection!
The defense must be simply confused on a portion of the memories. Defendant. She mentioned it was hazy to begin with, and we can't mull over every minor detail.
Objection!
But she also said there is no question I remember it. In fact, we can't ignore. In that case, why don't you explain what this contradiction with her memories means? Gladly. Just give me a sec to think of something. I want to say that Athena didn't stab anyone. But she said it herself that she remembers the feeling of committing the act. Think, Phoenix. Think. What could the contradiction of Athena's memories mean? Miss Sykes said blood flowed down in the handle, but the katana's handle is spotless. So, doesn't it follow that the defendant must have used a weapon other than the katana? What are you up to this time? This is it. This time I found just the thing to end Athena's nightmare for good. The weapon that took Dr. Sykes' life was the katana, that much is for sure. So if I could show a possibility that Athena didn't use the katana, it could help me prove her innocent. Oh, a different weapon, you say? What weapon would that be exactly? Right. Of course you would ask that. I can see you're floundering, Mr. Wright. Did you speak without thinking again, as always? How does he do that? I can't back down now. Not here, not now. That's right. I did. Because it's so obvious, it doesn't require any thought. What did you say? Okay, so maybe that was an exaggeration, but there has to be something. Was there some other bladed weapon in the robotics lab that day? Maybe there's something in one of the crime scene photos? Wait a minute. There is something. It's a high probability that that was in the lab. We don't have a particular weapon here in evidence right now, but I do have a piece of evidence just like it. Other than the katana, this is another blade that may have been at the crime scene. Please don't tell me it was the knife.
Take that!
Nope. Oh wait, but that's a murder weapon in the Clay Taryn case. Yes, so the knife that took Mr. Taryn's life. But there must have been a knife just like this at the scene 7 years ago as well. Toolkits containing utility knives like this are ones issued to the Space Center employees, and a robotics lab especially would naturally have one of those around.
Objection!
But besides the katana, no other bladed weapon was found at the site. It was in the investigation report if you didn't know.
Objection!
Of course I knew that. You told me just now. Then here's something else you already knew. There was a toolkit at the scene. but it did contain 2 blades. Here's a photo of its contents. You're right. I don't see any kind of bladed tool. Fine, but isn't there something odd about the design on the handles? Therefore, there was no other bladed weapon in the room.
Objection!
I disagree. This toolkit contained a knife. And what proof do you have of that? Don't tell me your eye for art is failing you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You are the last person in the world who should be criticizing my aesthetic sense. Now, he is simply watching out for your ocular health. Please proceed, Mr. Wright. Those are the handles of each of these tools have a sort of design on them. Ah, I see they do. Well, what significance does that have? It's clear that one of the tools is missing from this kit. If we rearrange the tools into a specific pattern, we might be able to tell which part of the overall design is missing. That is the theory your pitiful sense of aesthetics helped you come up with. Edgeworth, just let it go, man. Show the court, then, if you would. What pattern or design could we see if we were to rearrange the tools?
Take that!
And what design is this supposed to be? Represent? The Gyaxa logo, Your Honor, is on all the Space Center's documents and pamphlets. As you're aware, Gyaxia is the program that operates the Cosmos Space Center. Oh, I think I see it now, but... Yes, just the tool shown in this photo. The red A part of the logo is missing. And this is where the murder weapon from the Terran case comes into play. If we were to place the utility knife in the open slot... it would complete the Gyaxa logo. So it would? And that means... Admit it, Mr. Edgeworth. My aesthetic sense is keener than yours. And while you're at it, admit that the weapon Miss Sykes used could have been this one. No. Order in the court. Miss Sykes confessed to having a memory of stabbing the victim. Admittingly, Miss Sykes most likely did stab someone using the utility knife. However, the weapon used to kill Dr. Sykes was the katana. Therefore, the act of stabbing that Miss Sykes murders couldn't have been that of Dr. Sykes. Very well. Let's suppose for a minute that Miss Sykes did use the utility knife. Tell me, how does that change anything? Come again? What if the katana was only being used as a decoy to conceal the true murder weapon? What if the real weapon that took the victim's life was the utility knife? Don't be ridiculous, or are you changing the premise of your entire argument? I'm merely offering a hypothetical situation derived from your logic. The Sykes could have put blood on the katana to make it look like the murder weapon, and then concealed the knife on her personage until Blackquill carried her away. That does clear the contradiction between Miss Sykes' memories and the evidence. If in fact the murder weapon is a utility knife, then fate has dealt you a cruel hand. For you have just proven the knife's existence to the rest of us with your own logic.
Objection!
The prosecution is attempting to lead the court.
Objection!
You are the one attempting to lead the court, Mr. Wright, by forcing us to forget the facts of this case. I need to remind you that there were only 2 people in the lab at the time of the murder. That, and that the defendant herself recalls stabbing some with her own hands. No. It matters not whether the murder weapon was a katana or a utility knife, as long as we know that the victim and the defendant were the only ones in there. That escapes the fact that it was Athena Sykes who killed her own mother. I don't believe it. Why? Why does this keep happening? Every time I find a contradiction, it vanishes and the suspicion keeps coming back. It's almost as if... Now you're finally starting to get it. The contradictions keep vanishing because the charge is true. And the suspicion keeps coming back to the defendant because that's where it belongs. Phoenix is right. When will you open your eyes and accept the truth? I don't want to believe it. It can't be true. But what if... Mr. Wright, you fought a good fight. I think you've done all you can do. Is giving up really the only option? No. Snap out of it, Phoenix. What's the matter with you? Giving in to doubt? Can't look back. Forward is the only way to go. No, Your Honor, not yet. It isn't over yet. Right. Can't lose sight of what's important. Believe in Athena. We'll always believe in her. To the very end. Defense lawyer never gives up on his client. I have to pick myself back up and stand firm. Make that brain of yours work, Phoenix. If I don't see a way, I'll just have to go back and look for one. Time to rethink this case. Thoroughly. Oh, it's one of these moments. I can see the fact that Athena must have stabbed someone with a utility knife. Spin with Ponko witnesses Athena's hug. Prosecutor Blackquill doesn't see the knife at the scene either. This means that someone must have removed it from the lab before it arrived. He's taken the utility knife from the lab. Third person was at the scene. I trust Athena, then I have to conclude there was a third person at the scene. According to Ponko's testimony, Athena and her mother were the only two there. So then how did this third person manage to escape Ponko's detection? This person must have fooled Ponko's facial recognition feature by covering. This person hid their face. Wait a minute, Ponko had a heartbeat detection system too. If they converged their own face, Ponko still would have detected their presence. But she wouldn't have been able to tell who they were. Wait, that's it. The culprit could have covered their face and posed as which person to avoid detection. Okay. Oh, the... Poses a victim. If the culprit poses a victim, that would explain why Ponko thought only she and Athena were there. What they had to do was take advantage of Ponko's basic recognition features. The culprit used this in order to pose as a victim. The culprit could have posed as a victim by wearing the jacket with the ID tag on it. That still leaves a heartbeat detection system. How did the culprit get around that? It wouldn't have worked if Ponko could detect the real Dr. Sykes' heartbeat too. So does that mean that the real Dr. Sykes was already dead by that time? If that's the case, then who did Athena stab? Athena stabbed the real culprit. Yeah, I kind of figured that one out. That's it. The person Athena stabbed wasn't Dr. Sykes. It was the person who murdered her and then pretended to be her. The real culprit. It's kind of what I figured. Now that Mr. Red has finally finished thinking, let's bring this all to a swift end. Please give us your verdict, Your Honor, so that we can move on to the hostage negotiations. You are absolutely right, Prosecutor Edgeworth. I hereby...
Objection!
I didn't say I was finished. I was only pausing for a second. Because I realized something so shocking I had to take a breath to digest it. But now I know for a fact that... Miss Sykes is innocent. Ponko saw me. She witnessed the moment of the crime. Miss Ponko did witness something. She saw the hug. In other words, the moment you used the utility knife. But the person you stabbed wasn't your mother. What are you saying, Mr. Wright? The answer is simple. The person Miss Sykes stabbed was a third person posing as Dr. Sykes. What? Oh yeah!
Objection!
Do you really expect us to swallow that, Mr. Wright? According to the robot's statements, there was no third person there. Did you really think I wouldn't see through your ludicrous grab for time?
Objection!
After all we've been through, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm disappointed. Don't you know by now that this smile of mine means I have absolute confidence? Ha! I make that pose all the time, regardless of the facts. Blackquill's strange malfunction. Oh shit, yeah. Yeah. There was another case of mistaken identity caused by Jacket ID tag. All because Clonkel couldn't read Apollo's facial features due to that eye patch. Mr. Edgeworth said a mask could nullify the robot's facial recognition, and then all the person would have had to do is wear a jacket with the victim's ID tag to pose as her.
Objection!
Of all the ridiculous theories, what good would a silly disguise like that do? Have you forgotten that the robot also has a heartbeat detection system? If there was a third person at the scene, the robot would have detected them. I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth, but that doesn't count for much, I'm afraid. Because, by that time, Dr. Sykes' heart had already stopped beating. What? So does that mean? Yes, Your Honor. The person was Sykes stabbed. This third person was posing as Dr. Sykes. It's her mother's real killer. But that's... I'm... impossible! A mask. The person I stabbed was wearing a mask. Order? Order in the court? Miss Sykes, did you say something? A mask. Yes. I remember a... Ah! Athena? What is it? I remember a man. With a mask. How could he... What did he do to my mother? My head. Ah! Miss Sykes, are you alright? No! Oh shit. Black Cyclops. They're breaking. Oh! It's all coming back to me. Everything that happened the day my mother was murdered. Oh. They're gone. The Black Cyclops are finally gone. You didn't really stab your mother, did you? It's alright, Athena. Just tell us what you saw that day. I was drawing a picture. When I was done, I went to show it to my mom. I opened the door, and then... Ugh. Nah. It's alright. I'm right here. You're safe, Athena. She was on the floor by the workbench with the katana sticking out of her. There was a handkerchief over her face, but I knew it was her by her clothes. And there was a man there. A man!
Hold it!
Quiet, Your Honor. Go on, Athena. He tried to attack me. In a panic, I grabbed the knife that was there and... He dodged at first, so I only got his clothes. But I tried again. And this time you got him, didn't you? I did. I remember it clearly now. The knife went into the back of his hand. Then he kicked me and I passed out. When I came to, my mom wasn't moving. I had to do something. I had to fix her, I thought. So I asked Ponko to move her to the operating table. Something's wrong with Mom, so I'm taking her apart to fix her. That's why she said that. Your Honor, as you can see, the defendant has just given us critical new testimony. The man was there before Miss Sykes arrived. The man who covered the victim's face. And put on the victim's jacket. This man is the real culprit. Miss Sykes, do you have any idea who this man was? No, I'm afraid I don't. A few moments ago, Miss Sykes mentioned a mask. Athena, can you tell us anything else about that? Yes, the mask. It was my mom's Japanese theater mask. I think it was the one hanging on the wall of the lab. Ah, this mask hanging here on the wall. It was kind of spooky, that mask. My mom used to tell me that no mask even has the power to turn an ordinary human being into a phantom. Phantom? Yeah, it would seem. That a new suspect has emerged. And that means that all suspicion against Miss Sykes has. You see, this is precisely why I can't trust the court system. Athena Sykes is the murderer. I won't accept any other verdict. Miss Blackquill. This is not good. A new suspect? Where's the proof this person ever existed? Who says it wasn't all just a dream in the little princess' groggy little head? Ugh. She's right. We don't have any hard evidence of the masked man's existence.
Objection!
Thank you, Mr. Wright. I'll never be able to repay you for all you've done. But I'm fine now. Because I can say with certainty that I didn't kill my mother. Athena, I'm so glad for you. More and more memories are coming back now. So I'd like to say one thing if I could. Ponko came to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. to recharge. Ooh. Oh, this is getting good. See where you're going with this. If Mommy Metis was really the killer in disguise. Right. Then he must have come to the robotics lab before 2 p.m. Do I have anything here in the evidence that can help me find this person who came to the lab before 2 p.m.? Oh, I don't know. Oh no. It's not the jacket with it. It's not that, is it? The rip in it? Oh! Is it this?
Take that!
No, we'll wait. Certainly, I'll help you. I'll help you to remember to think before you speak. Hold on. Lemon juice and paper cut. Oh, I don't know.
Take that!
Oh, wait a minute. Ooh.
Take that!
This is Prosecutor Blackquill leaving the scene after the incident at around 3 p.m. What I'm wondering is, does the video show anyone else passing by there before then? I don't see anything in the investigation report. Looks like they didn't check. Just as I thought. So if we rewind the footage and go back to around 2 p.m., we should be able to see the true culprit leaving the scene. Very well then, let's take a look. There's gonna be nothing. There, please stop it right there. Oh shit. Oh shit! just like you said, there is a man leaving the scene of the crime. Miss Sykes, do you remember this person? That's him. I'm sure of it. He was wearing my mother's jacket. I did, but what I really wanted to see was her jacket. But what about it lying on the ground? Can you see it? There's a slash I made with the utility knife that day. I'm sure that knife is under that jacket somewhere. So then, everything Miss Sykes said. Exactly. It proves that Miss Sykes' memory was correct. Dr. Sykes' killer arrived at the robotics lab before 2 p.m. He killed her and hit her face with his handkerchief. Then he disguised himself with Dr. Sykes' jacket and mask that were there in the lab. The culprit probably knew beforehand that Ponko charged up at 2 p.m. every day. So he waited for Ponko to come to the lab for a regular recharge. Leaving Dr. Sykes' jacket on, the culprit tricked Ponko into thinking he was Dr. Sykes, thereby making it look like she was alive up to that point in time, all to disguise their real time of death.
Objection!
It's a nice theory, Mr. Wright, but I'm afraid that is just not possible. What? Why not? The jacket is clearly visible right there in the video, and that right there is precisely the problem. A D-tag on the jacket at the scene confirms beyond doubt that it belonged to the victim. The person who left the lab truly was wearing the victim's jacket. Then how could it possibly have wound up back at the crime scene? What's going on? Doesn't make sense. Schwartz's right. If the culprit was wearing the jacket, how did it get back to the lab? Oh, I don't know. Sykes brought the jacket back to the lab. I see. So you're saying Miss Sykes is an accomplice then?
Objection!
I'll believe Miss Sykes' complete innocence to the bitter end. With the way things are going, it might very well be a bitter end. For both of you. Well, I don't think the victim could have. I was right. Killer used the jacket as a disguise to make his escape. But in order to conceal the fact that he had to get the jacket back to the crime scene. So the culprit simply returned to the robotics lab later and planted it there. Contradiction resolved.
Objection!
Except that it would have been impossible. The only people who came to the robotics lab after the killer were Prosecutor Blackquill and the people who reported the body. And they claimed that the jacket was there when they arrived. So, what do you propose this mysterious man of yours had the chance to return the jacket? A puzzling question indeed. When the body was found. The only time the culprit could have returned the jacket was when the body was found. Mr. Wright, do you realize the implication of that argument? I do. Most people, when they come across a murder, focus their attention on the body. The culprit could have taken advantage of that split second to plant the jacket. In other words, the true culprit of this case, the man known as the Phantom, was one of the first people to discover the body. I would never have thought of that. Order in the court? What is this meaning of this Prosecutor Edgeworth? The body was discovered and reported by a group of 3 people. They were there to collect the space probe's capsule in preparation for the Hatwood launch. One of those people had a special bag to transport the capsule in. Oh, you mean the shock-resistant bag? Correct. Suppose that if the jacket was in that bag, it could have been returned to the scene of the crime without anyone noticing. I'll see to that you get the reports on those 3 people. You will? Should also check the facial recognition database for that robot. This person felt the need to hide his face with a theater mask. It might mean that his facial data was once registered. But Prosecutor Edgeworth, does this mean? I have to admit, I believe Miss Sykes' memories to be credible. You win, right? Not that this was ever an official trial anyway. Do my ears deceive me? Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you actually conceding? Is it true, boss? Does this mean can't believe it. It's over. I've won. Prove that both Athena and Prosecutor Blackquill are innocent. Your Honor, I see no need to further prolong this trial.
Objection!
Hold on, Mr. Wright. Have you forgotten who's in charge of this trial? That's right. I'm the one who's supposed to say I see no need to further prolong. Not you either, Your Honor. Now silence. The little princess who was truly beloved by Metis, and who repaid that love with death. All these years hating Athena was the only thing that kept me going. But what do I do now? Can anybody tell me? How am I supposed to go on? Miss Blackquill. How unlike you, Aura. Metis was deeply passionate about her work. She chose you as her partner. Isn't that? Shut up, Simon. You know exactly how I felt about her. Her respect as a coworker wasn't all that I wanted. Then what did you want from her? Did you really just go there, Your Honor? Aura, there was something I've wanted to say if you will lend me an ear. I have in my possession a lead on whom Metis' murderer is. You do? Right, Dono. You asked me about the identity of the Phantom of 7 years past. That's right. The Phantom. Person Blackquill has been looking for, even from behind bars. 7 years ago, somebody hatched a plan to sabotage the Hat-1 project. Or Rocket. The spy. But he was no ordinary spy. We knew naught about him. His background, appearance. We came to refer to him as the Phantom. At the time, I was working with the police to hunt him down. And then one day, a miracle occurred, and I obtained a lead on him. Oh, how exciting! What was the lead? A recording of the Phantom's voice. The quality was too poor for proper voice analysis. Yet I had hope, or his co-worker was a scientist who could analyze human emotions. So I asked her to evaluate the recording using analytical psychology. And that scientist was Dr. Sykes. Yes, the spy's greatest fear is to have his true nature discovered. In addition to Hat-1, Director Sykes' results and the recording was surely among his targets. But his research at the Space Center bore no fruit, so we must have started to panic. He couldn't find them. Well, where could they have been? Who's to say? Wow, I bet he's never let that out of his sight all these years. How in the world did you smuggle them into prison? Oh, I have my ways. What's more, my partner is especially talented at this sort of thing. Oh! I worked to lure the Phantom in by spreading rumors about the underworld. I was even granted permission to prosecute cases to attract the Phantom's attention. Just try to retrieve your identity, you bloody butcher, became my taunt. And what about the results Dr. Sykes drew up for you? Was there any useful information? Here, you can see it for yourself. But take good care of it. That's all I have left of my mentor. I will. I'd better hold on to this real tight. Psychological profile, classified. Emotional output of this voice extremely weak compared to typical voices. Subject deemed to have unique psychological makeup with almost no emotional fluctuation. No emotional fluctuation, huh? A spy who experiences no emotions, not sadness nor anger, and naturally no fear. He is the very definition of a phantom, a monster with no heart. Don't you see? The creature is the rot that destroyed our lives and set what allows us no motion. The Phantom, indeed. Fitting name for the one who had brought darkness to our world. Well then. It seems a faint image of this man has started to take shape. Based on what we have learned, I'd like all of you to conduct further investigation. This is not a normal trial. This is not a formal trial, but I do want to follow a protocol. If I may, I'd like to hand out my verdict, say, and bring these proceedings to an end. Whatever. Do what you want. You'll hear no objections from me. Yes, please, Your Honor. It's over. It's finally over. Very well. In that case, Prosecutor Blackquill, could you please take the stand? As a result of this trial, your innocence has been proven. The verdict handed down 7 years ago is hereby overturned. And now, the defendant of the current trial, Miss Athena Sykes. Yes, Your Honor. Sir Wright, thank you. Thank you for everything. Athena, you're more than welcome. If everyone is ready, I will now give my verdict. No! Is it Apollo? You! Apollo, you rat bastard. Apollo! What is the meaning of this? Congratulations, Mr. Wright and Prosecutor Edgeworth. You uncovered the truth from 7 years ago, and you saved Prosecutor Blackquill. However, I can't allow this trial to end just yet. Bro! Why, Apollo? Why would you do this to us? Oh my god. I can't believe this. I just... So we're definitely well over halfway of this case. We have roughly 2 hours left of case-wise, so I think we'll save this for the next day. Just wow. I knew Apollo was going to do that. I'm just kind of like in disbelief here. Oh, Maya does come back, though. Alright. Well. That is about all the time we have for this. Next time, I hope we'll get to the end of this trial. Figure out, like, well, what if Paulo wants to say, what he wants to try and ruin. Oh, God. I'm actually, like, really, really happy with this final case. Like, I hated the first case of this game. I really did. But the way it's, like, tied into stuff right now, the way right now that it's tied in is actually making it really good. Like, yeah. So, kind of makes me just a bit rethink of, like, my previous, like, statements. Taking into account how everything's going now, because the way the order went, it's second case, third case, then fourth case, which gets interrupted by first case, goes back into fourth case, and then it's fifth case as we know it. That, like, ooh, I don't know. I kind of like that, though. Like, getting the info like this now? Yeah. And it pretty much puts case 2 and 3 as kind of, like, filler. Although I don't want to call them filler, because they're not. Like, you know, it's the characters and who they are and all that stuff. And however, I will say it's kind of weird for, I don't know, Apollo's character is weird, but maybe this next stream will be the finale, at least of the story of Dual Destinies. And then we'll hop straight into the special episode, because I still want to do the special episodes. I like the special episodes, and normally, I mean, I played Rise from the Ashes, and that was a pretty good one, so I'm gonna guess that the special episodes are pretty good overall. And from what I've read, some people actually really, really, really like it, so we'll see. Yeah. But I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you for being here.